Welcome back, beautiful souls, to the Horror Pop Extravaganza.
What is up, all you beautiful souls, dude? I'm talking to you. There's one person I know right now that's watching this, and I'm talking directly to you, and it's every one of you. We are so happy you are here. You know what time it is. This is the Horror Pop Extravaganza, where the macabre meets the mindful, and we try to do the best we can to deliver you something cool every week. Something you can not just listen to and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But something you could action, something you could do, or just celebrate you, the beautiful individuals who listen to this show in one way or another. Thank you so much for being here. I am always is Pops Ghostly, and with me today, the one and only, the only one of us who has a fan club.
That's right. It's Lil Duke Spooky. Oh, I hit the mic. That was a fucking okay.
Duke Spooky. My
Lil Dukels.
guy. Lil Dukus. I like that. Lil Dukus. How are you today, my friend?
Feeling loose. Feeling good.
Feeling
Ready to
loose
talk
as
about
yes.
some horror. And maybe
Yes.
a little mindfulness.
Maybe I got some good. I think you're going to like the mindfulness. I think you're going to like the pause for the living this week. I got some good. Anybody listening, if you're a comic book fan, make sure you stay tuned all the way up until the end, because today's pause for the living is brought to you by a superhero.
Oh, snap.
Right. But we do have a lot of movie to talk about today, dude, because this is one that I remember buying a physical copy. It was either a DVD or a Blu-ray or something, circa 2004, 2005. I was in the military. I was out in California. I used to go to the big video store whenever I got a chance to just buy up, all the new shit and whatnot. And I saw this movie, Dead and Breakfast. Picked it up, not really knowing anything about it. Haven't seen it probably since then, because it got, I don't know what happened with distribution, but it seems like something happened with the distribution of this thing. Whoever owned it or whatever, it wasn't streaming anywhere. You could get DVD copies and stuff like that, but I was kind of bummed. I was like, I remember this thing being a fucking treasure. Like, I remember watching it and being like, there's some, like, this is cool. This is cool. And going back probably 2 or 3 weeks, I sent a group text to everybody at the Horror Pop Manor, and I'm like, yo, this movie's on Tubi. Like, I can't believe it. It's on Tubi and it's on Prime, which is cool. I'm surprised it's not, if they're going to put it on Prime, unless maybe it's an Apple or an Amazon thing, like they bought of somebody's library, all their movies from their history or whatever. Filmography, if you will. All I care about is the fact that it showed back up. I'm like, okay, this movie's cool. I start texting all you guys. I'm like, yo, can we please somebody record this with me? I really want to talk about this movie. And everybody, and I just want to shout out to everybody at the Horror Pop Manor, CeeWolf and B Money, who are doing a lot of behind the scenes shit right now. But I hope to encourage all of you listeners, all of you beautiful souls, that there's some really cool stuff going on right now behind the scenes. And yeah, I'm excited to be a part of everything that's going on right now. But we start go back forth, and get the most lovely human being ever, who's like, I'll do it, dude. I want to fucking talk about a movie and shit. Like, let's go. And I was excited. So part of the behind the scene part, you hear that Midwestern part of that. Oh, there, bud. Sorry, there. But part of the behind the scenes stuff was building out a year program, so we know all the movies and stuff that we're going to see. And I tried to be very intentional about who I put on as the co-host, because I don't want somebody this isn't really their bag, coming in, because it's not going to be as exciting. But with this one, I was like, you know what, that's my Evil Dead guy. That's my like horror comedy guy. I think he's gonna, and so I had put you on for this one, which worked out great. I'm so excited. So had you seen or heard, anything about this movie?
Not even a whisper, dude.
Right.
When you said Dead and Breakfast, I was like, automatically, just like a thing came to my mind. And this wasn't that for sure. Because this is impossible to come to your mind. Like,
Right.
unless you're in this thing, then you don't know what you're getting with this thing.
And it was written and directed by same individual, which we've talked about before in the past. You know, always gives you a certain amount of freedom to have crazy fucking ideas and bring those to light. This, though, almost they had to recut it when they distributed it because they slammed it with an NC-17 because apparently it was way bloodier. Yeah, apparently it was way bloodier, way gorier. This is 2004, so we are, you know, just post 9/11. Saw and stuff like that is starting to come out. We're getting into more of that torture porn, so it's interesting that they gave this, you know, but maybe it's just the amount of actual physical blood. Then I can't think of any other reason because they did use gallons. I love the effects throughout this entire thing. So let's get into it, man. Why don't you open up your Internet Movie database and see what and be sure to go through this cast a little bit because you got some bangers, dude. And I was hoping you'd be like, holy shit. Like
The opening credits, dude. Yeah, I watched them because they're like the comic book animated, which I love, you know.
Yeah,
and I was just like, holy, yeah. There were some holy shits in here that I was just like,
So
and then you
please.
watch it and you're like, is that even a cameo? Like, fuck.
Right. But yes, please go ahead.
All right, so this thing is written and directed by Matthew Lightweiler. It also had Billy Burke on there, and I don't know if that's the Billy Burke or if that's somebody else that just.
So some of what I was reading is this writer, like he was fucking roommates with Jeffrey Dean Morgan for a long time, and the dude that wrote Verve Pipe, who did the Freshman song. That's how they could use it in the movie. They were homies, lived together, and that guy scored all the music and shit. So it was like there was just a bunch of, you know, people who would go on to, and there's one name I'm not going to spoil because I hope you're going to say it. You know, I was like, holy crap, dude! Like this is cool to see, but. Yeah, like a bunch of these cats all hung out together, and it was just like 10 years down the road, like, hey, I finally got a chance to make a thing. Like, remember we were homies, let's go. And I love that.
I knew it had to be that because some of these guys just show up for like a minute, you know,
Right.
and they're just like, yeah. But this dude is like a early 2000s fucking treasure, Jeremy Sisto.
Dude,
who you just
100%.
don't see in stuff anymore, and he was so fucking good.
He was in everything in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Dude. Suicide Kings is one of my favorite movies, dude.
Dude, he was in Wrong Turn though, around the same time. I think Wrong Turn was like 2003-ish, maybe somewhere in there, but yeah.
He's one of those rare dudes who can easily play like a leading man, but also villain.
And
Like
has
he's got that like
has the
switchable-
capacity, right? He has the capacity to turn it on and off like that.
Right. This dude I've seen before, but I couldn't pin it down. Eric Padino, who played David.
Yeah, so
I've seen him before.
You have, and I was trying to remember what I had seen him in, but he's done a ton of like TV. But there was one movie in particular where I was like, oh, that's what I remember him from. But yeah, another good one. Like everybody in this thing, I think, you know, did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Everybody shows up and gives 100%. We got Bianca Lawson playing Kate. Osgood Perkins, just a total fucking weirdo.
Dude, but isn't that amazing? So Osgood Perkins, who we know now from like Long Legs and shit like that, but you're talking about Anthony Perkins' kid, and when they give him that nod, dude, when he's like, what is this, fucking Psycho? And it's like the read. This is, for me anyway, this dude who wrote and directed this is somebody who clearly cares about horror. Is somebody who, you know, isn't just trying to break into the industry. It seems like someone who's like, oh yeah, I know Psycho. Like I can work with fucking Norman Bates' kid. Like let's make this happen, you know. And Osgood Perkins is so good in this. He's so weird. So weird, kind of like kind of like his dad, you know, a little bit, but at the same time. So yeah, for him even to show up, and in the credits they have him credited as Oz Perkins, so he wasn't even going as Osgood at the time. I was like, that's rad. Good for you, Larry Fishburne in Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Like I'm gonna take it.
Yeah.
So anyway,
speaking of good pedigree, Ever Carradine.
Yeah.
Playing Sarah.
Crushes
she gets her fucking moment in the sun. Yeah, she's awesome in this. Gina Phillips plays Melody. She's from Buffy, the Buffyverse.
And we even get a Buffy line in this where he's like, yo, slow down, Buffy. Right. Like somebody gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah.
For sure. Dude, Diedrich Bader. What the fuck?
I know when he first shows up, every time so I rewatched this twice leading up to this show because I enjoyed it so much the first time. And then I was like, I'm just going to watch it again because the first time I was kind of a little bit not fully in it. So I sat down just before we started and just full attention from start to finish. I'm a big fan of the Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
He is, with that fucking yeah, we'll get there and stuff. But yeah, Diedrich Bader is a gem, man. He's a gem.
For my money, dude, Office Space, he is the greatest in that.
Right.
2 chicks at the same time.
Oh.
Hey, Peter, turn on channel 9, man.
Right.
That's my favorite, dude.
So good.
Breast exam. Woo! Doesn't that chick kind of look like Kate? And then just boom, boom, boom. Jeffrey Dean Morgan is in this movie.
Yes, dude.
Like,
and I love, and it's a pre-Negan Jeffrey D. Morgan, so that wasn't so embedded in his DNA yet, and he's fun, dude. He's he's quirky, he's reliable, but at the same time, kind of a doofus, and I love this performance of Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Love it.
Yeah. This was before he got too cool.
Right. Yeah, I don't think he ever got too cool. I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan's still pretty fucking cool.
For sure. Portia de Rosa is in this thing.
Right.
That was weird.
Right.
And she did not look like herself. I didn't recognize her until the credits.
No.
I was like, that was Portia de Rosa? What?
Early, dude. Early on. I know when I saw it in the credits too, I was like, holy shit, that's right. Like, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, dude. And what was she in that was so good? She was in Arrested Development, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir. She was the sister.
She was the sister in that. So good, dude.
So good. Arrested Development, the first, before they did that last season, was fire.
It was hot fire, dude. All right, you ready to hear what this movie's fucking about, according to IMDb?
Yes, sir. Lay it on me.
A night at a local bed and breakfast turns into a bloody, supernatural fight to the death.
That's it?
No, that's it, dude. And no, that is not what this movie's about. Not even close.
Not even relatively close to
I don't even know if the guy even watched it before he gave it that fucking...
Right.
Like, he read it off the DVD cover and was like, this is good enough.
Right. It was just a little tagline, like on the back of the DVD, the little header line. Because, yes,
sure.
that is nothing...
Oh, fuck, we forgot David Carradine, dude.
Oh.
David Carradine is in this movie.
As like a sweet monk, pretty much playing kung fu and shit again.
Bill
Doing his
himself,
thing.
yeah.
Killing it, man. The movie opens, like you said, I love this almost comic booky, trade paperback, Frank Miller, Sin City look with just these panels. And we get a little bit of, I think we start off, we get some singing right at the beginning.
Yeah.
I am not a huge fan of musicals. I never really have been. There are a handful that I do enjoy. I saw IMDb listed this as a horror musical, and I'm like, I don't think this is a musical.
No, not at all.
No, because it's segues to the music. It completely turn pans or whatever. The characters don't start singing ever. We do get a dance number, which is fun, but we don't ever really get, so I wouldn't call it a musical, but it is fully told through music. And this little band they got that plays through the thing, the lead singer guy is so much fun, dude. And I think he wrote them all. It said like original music, all written by one guy. So, and he seems like the kind of dude that would get out his guitar at a party and sing some funny ass shit off the top of his head.
Right. It really it gave me like a Dukes of Hazzard feel.
Oh, yes. I could see that. And I don't know if we just get the little title things and then Dead and Breakfast. And then I want to say we jump immediately to our group of friends in an RV. And we are all traveling across country to go to a friend's wedding. And we're all loaded up. We got our two dudes in the back you got David and I can't remember Jeremy Sisto's character's name, but those two are just taking like pill roulette. He's just got a bunch of pharmaceuticals out on the table. And David's girlfriend is like, oh, man, like, you got to stop doing this. You already got a black eye. Look at you with your butterfly sutures and all that stuff. I can't have you looking like blah, 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 blah when we get here. And he's just like, screw you, dude, and keeps taking the pills. They're pounding beers, having a good time. Johnny up front, Osgood Perkins, tooting along. And I love that this dude is like, hey, they're like, hey, where are we? And he's like, I don't know. We were supposed to see some shit like a half hour ago. He's like, I have no idea.
Just driving along.
Totally here for it. Meanwhile, he takes little notes about how much roadkill he sees, so he can say a little prayer for all the
That was an interesting
right,
choice.
right. I'm like, that's kind of funny, dude. Because this is very much horror comedy. This is not a straight horror movie. It is I think when I watch it, I see, Peter Jackson, like Brain Dead and stuff like that. I do see Sam Raimi. I see The Evil Dead. I see a little bit of the Three Stooges, that slapsticky, really vaudevillian type comedy. But in this, we get like full-blown comedic elements. This just sets us up a little bit. So they're tinkering around. Oh, we're never going to be able to find it. She's all pissed at the map, throws it down. And it made me think of the episode we did about the old dark house. Because I remember you saying the woman at the beginning when she's like, I can't see a thing on this map. You're like, that's the first time ever that map's been so bad nobody could ever see it. It's just a puddle. But she throws the map down. Okay, we're going to stop at this little town called something.
Like Love Stick or something.
Love Stick. Something like that. The Lovelock or something like that.
Oh, I think it was Lovelock. Yeah.
We're going to stop here for gas, and we'll ask for directions. And they stop.
Because that always goes so well in a horror movie.
Always goes so well. We stop. We ask for directions. You get the people outside playing the music and stuff. And the music is great if you really listen to it. There's a couple of the songs where I'm like, that's wonderful, man. Like, good on you guys for having the balls to try it and actually execute it in a way that makes a little bit of sense. They stopped.
What's so weird that these guys are just set up in front of the gas station.
Well, that's what I think makes it great is they're just always set up everywhere. He'll be like outside the window, like, don't look in that box, Johnny. Don't look in that fucking box. and then just tip his hat to him like, oh, okay. So, yeah, they're set up. They play a little music, give us a little bit of exposition. You had the the little rim shots when he's saying funny shit, which was also good. Yeah. The fact that the drummer's still sitting there, because she asks him, where are we? Where can we go? Sorry, you won't be able to blah, blah, blah. You got to stay. There's a spot here in town. You can go to the bed and breakfast. So they head over to I think right around here, they head over to the bed and breakfast, and that's when Diedrich Bader shows up at the front door. Dude's pissing in his bushes. And he's like, you piece of shit. You're a piece of shit. Like this obnoxious French accent. He's like, do not be pissing in my bushes. If I catch you with my dick in my bush. And he's so good, dude. The couple minutes he's on screen, he chews it up. They all get inside. David's drunk at this point. And so he's just kind of being an asshole. He knocks all of his he brings him out a tray of food and stuff. And Jeremy Sisto's not being very nice either. They're all just kind of treating Diedrich Bader.
They're all not nice people.
Right. He's like, get your feet off the table. This is someone's And he's like, home. We're going to spend the night here. David Carradine shows up. He's very, Bill from Kill Bill or
100%.
His character from Kung Fu. He catches him maybe meditating, and that's where we get a little exposition about the box. Something along those lines.
Sort of.
Yes, he's got this little treasure thing. He agrees to let them all stay there. He did meet the Drifter really quick. Forgot about that. We meet the Drifter because he's going to be a big part of the story. Jeffrey Dean Morgan had picked him up, taken him in. We meet the Drifter. I don't remember exactly how the first spirit gets out, but old boy wakes up drunk in the living room like, fuck, all I want is some fucking pie, which is so true because when you wake up drunk, your blood sugar is crashed, so you do want some sugary things. I was like, that's a really good fucking, I wonder if that was intentional. But he's like, I just want some pie. He takes his shirt off, he's got a sexy tank top on, and he sits and eats pie, and then they come downstairs. And I love this, dude, that he just somehow got to the table in the dark, you know what I mean, and somebody had been murdered right behind him. Diedrich Bader is against the wall with some kind of a blade in his neck, like almost stuck him to the wall a little bit. And this is great because the effects are wonderful. This is also somebody, whoever made this movie was like, I care about practical effects. I want to be bloody, spray it everywhere. Let's go. So he's on the wall, dude's eating pie. They turn the light on and they're like, ah! And he's just like, huh? What? And then he turns over and looks, and then he goes back to his pie and does the quick double take, looks back over.
The double take was legit, dude. Like,
Dude.
I had to give him credit for that one.
Right, the double take, and then the full Three Stooges can't, the running in place bit where you're trying to get away from something and your feet just keep whoop, 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 whoop. He's falling down. He's on the edge of the table. He's doing all these things. The music gets lighthearted. It's very intentional that this is comedy. I want you to laugh right now. Have a good time with this because we're not taking any of this too seriously. So he's dead. Boy, David's like, I gotta go get the sheriff. I gotta go to the police station. He goes to get on the motorcycle and it just shoots out from underneath him. And then he puts the helmet on. He's like, okay, I can actually do it this time.
Dude, that has literally happened to me before. That made me laugh, dude. Because
It's happened to
I've
so
had a
many
motorcycle
people, dude.
come out from
Yes,
underneath me, dude.
yes.
It's so fucking embarrassing, dude. Yeah.
It has happened to so many people.
And like one of those, like, dude, it's just like, wow, and it just like takes off, and you're like, fuck, ah. Yeah,
That's
so
why
I
you
did
just-
love that.
That's why you just do like he did and be like, it's all good. I got it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. We're good. I'm gonna go. And and I can't remember the name of her character who was in Jeepers Creepers. I don't remember the name of her. Either way.
Oh, she was in Jeepers Creepers?
Right. Yeah, she was opposite Justin Long. She played the sister in Jeepers Creepers. But she's kind of the voice of reason through a lot of this stuff. She somehow knows how to speak every language, which I thought was hilarious. She speaks French first to Diedrich Bader, and then she speaks American Sign Language to the gardener who can't, who's a mute. And so she's just like this super genius. I'm like, that's fucking funny, dude. If you really think about the bit, oh yeah, somehow she just speaks every language. I don't know why. Works for me. She's kind of like, oh shit. Pretty much everybody, I guess, at this point is like, oh shit. Meanwhile, Sarah, I think it was, is upstairs, and David Carradine's having a heart attack at the same time. That's when maybe the first spirit got released or something, and she's like, oh no, fuck, she's trying to help him, and then Jeremy Sisto goes to do CPR, and he's like, I have no idea, and just gets up and walks away.
Yeah, he does he goes to do it. Yeah, that was a great moment from him. He's just like, well, what am I doing? Like,
I don't know what I'm doing. Why am I even attempting this? So the police get involved. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan as the sheriff. I think he absolutely just slays in this role because he plays it so small town smart.
Yeah.
But not in an arrogance. It's like there's a genuineness to it where he's like, at the crime scene, there's three things that always happen. And then Jeremy Sister's like, oh yeah, the truth, right? And he looks at him like, fuck, you took all the fucking wind right out of my sails. Like I had this great thing I was going to say. They determine that David Carradine had a heart attack. And now we have the suspect, the drifter, I think is the person that we're looking for. We think might have committed this. I think we even see him outside before this happens. There's a little bit of cat and mouse in this, but not a ton. Old girl's freaked out. She's the maid of honor. She's not going to be able to talk to her homegirl. The deputy shows up. He's a ton of fun at the same time. He's a Barney Fife all the way.
Deputy was
1,000%.
my favorite, dude. When he's dragging the body down the stairs, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan's just like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he's like tripping over it and shit. And he's
Right.
like I've ever dragged a body down the stairs before.
Right.
Fuck, this town has like 30 people in it.
Right.
But they're also not that freaked out that he was like murdered. They're just
no. They think it just might be this drifting psycho or whoever, and she goes to the police station in order to call her whoever she's going to be the bridesmaid for, the bride. And they get in this great fight, you know what I mean? Back and forth, like, fuck you. If you ain't dead, you should be here. There's no excuse for you not being
It's
here.
like, you ruined my wedding. And she's like, what the fuck? Someone was murdered here.
Right.
And we're stuck. And she's like, I don't give a shit.
She's like, well, I don't
bitch.
think it'll be your last wedding anyway. You fucking slut.
That was good.
Yeah, it was good. They go back and forth, and she poked her head out the window. They're all just standing on the porch, and the cop's talking, and peeks out. He's like, oh, you can go to town. They're going to have RW's Hoedown or whatever is going on later on. You should go check that stuff out. Meanwhile, Jeremy Sisto and Sarah, I think, are walking into town, and some dude show up with a truck bed full of animals, and he's like, "Y'all want to buy some deer meat?" And she's like, "I'm a vegetarian." He's like, "How about beaver?" I was like, "Great, dude." We end up at the Hall of Records, where the woman who runs the Hall of Records is fucking awesome.
Who is this chick, dude? Just out of nowhere.
So serious about her job. She's like, "I run these records, and you got to sign in, you got to sign out, you got to do the things because I'm the boss around here. I'm that person."
Yeah.
So they are flipping through the old whatever periodicals or newspapers, and they are so small town. It's like, "Mayor catches 7-pound trout" is the headline. "It put up a good fight, but I brought him in." And they're like, "Wow, so surprising." Then they get to the article about grave robbing. Something happened with grave robbing. Learn later on that it was David Carradine and his monk friend were out.
Who they have video footage of or something.
Right. No, I think like somebody remembers it or recalls it. She had seen it. The lady who ran the thing, the repository, because she went through the cemetery to go home every night. She's like, "I live on the other side of town, so I go through the cemetery every night to get back home." She had saw them out there, wasn't sure what they were doing. His wife and his like infant son had died in an accident, and she thought maybe he was digging up the baby or something like that.
Dude, what if it's Uma Thurman?
Dude, it looked just like Uma Thurman. I'm telling you.
What if Uma Thurman died and the baby died, and he is Bill in this movie? And this is just an extension of a Tarantino universe.
You know what's crazy is he was playing Bill probably right around the same time, because the first one came out 2004, right? He was probably doing these movies like back to back. That's why he seems so much like Bill. It's, and instead of the monk,
he probably came over in his Bill costume.
Should have been that little guy that hung out with Bud and helped bury her. Who, when he spit and chew spit and stuff in her face. Oh, so good. I saw they're releasing that as like a 4K, the full Bloody Affair or whatever, you know, all together as one movie.
Yeah. I'm gonna check that shit out.
Oh yeah, I want to watch that for sure. Okay, back to this movie. Back to A Little Dead and Breakfast. Continue to get hilarious singing throughout the entirety of the movie. You really have to see this. There's no other way to describe it. You have to see this to understand how well integrated this stuff is and how funny it is. You know, it keeps the comedy throughout the entirety of the movie. Into town, they get to the repository, they get the information, they find out about that. We get the gardener is the next one to die. Because I can't remember why Johnny can't get in the house, but he goes to climb up the window. It's the ladder up there, but when he crawls in, the box and the little the little piece of cloth with the sigil or whatever on it falls off, opens up. Johnny gets possessed. He's our first nightmare, and he kills the gardener violently with some garden shears. And I don't know, but I'd love to think that they put him in full shadow just like his dad was in Psycho. In that scene.
For sure. I thought that same thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, dude, good for you, man. Like, awesome. So he kills that guy. And the next person, I'm trying to remember.
There's just a dude hanging a poster, dude, and they just fucking kill him violently for no reason.
Oh, the guy that gets the hammer. And he's trying to pull the hammer out of his own head. You're right.
Great.
But I think this is Johnny at this point. He's just making more of the zombie people. But we don't get the full outbreak until we get to the bar. And we get to the bar, they go in, they meet Doc, the town doctor, who's talking about manure. He's like, "You want some of them manure samples, Doc?" And he's like, "Oh, hell yeah." Like, he's like, "I got them in the back of my truck. Let's go get this doo-doo." He ends up having David's girlfriend and Sarah get yanked away by a couple of the locals, and then David ends up having to dance with this humongous dude like Paul Bunyan's sister with all her nasty teeth. That's a two-step, right? Let's get it. This is where all hell breaks loose in this movie, and for me, this is where I really start to just have the most fun. Almost a From Dusk Till Dawn level fight scene in a bar. Pure pain.
And almost that kind of, like, half the movie was, like, leading up to this craziness.
Ah, that's a good observation, dude. You're right.
Yeah.
Because it is. You got some, I think well, I guess even in From Dusk Till Dawn, you still get crazy things happening, but not at this level. Not as, because we get here, everybody's in the bar, they're on the dance floor, the band is up there singing, and they sound great. Boy walks up, Johnny's outside the door, and he's got like a hatchet in his hand, and he walks up to the sheriff and yanks him, bink, right out of the back of his head, takes some of his hair and puts it in the little box. And we learn that that's how you get the spirits, is to put a bone, some blood, anything from this human being into the box, and that will now make them a puppet of Johnny or the spirit that has Johnny.
Very voodoo element to it, it's voodoo zombies.
Right. Yeah, because they talk and shit. They're not like, they're very the leader of the pack. So he takes dude's hair, put it in there. He pulled his gun on Johnny, and he's pointing it right at him. And he's like, he does a thing at him, and he turns around. He shoots the bartender in the face. Bartender goes down, starts shooting everybody. There's pandemonium. And then we just get this fucking full-on brawl at the bar, which is so much fun, dude, because they're still singing and stuff going on about everything that's happening. People flying all over, fake blood shooting out everywhere. Somebody gets a bass, like a cymbal or something, right into their head, a drum cymbal or something right in their head. Dean Morgan shows up, and he's just like, what the hell's going on? And we got to get out of here. So they snatch up. It's him. They get in his truck. Him and David and the two girls, I think. They end up making it out while Johnny is at the bar turning everybody. And but they did cut off Jeremy Sisto's head at the bar. That's right.
Oh, yes. Jeremy Sisto went out, dude.
Apparently he was supposed to be in the movie more, but he had a scheduling conflict. And so they wrote this whole part so he could, be killed.
Right.
But the second job or whatever didn't pan out, but they'd already spent too much money to rewrite him back in, with all the effects and stuff. I'm like, I get that, they did the best they could. And I think it works out great because my favorite scene in this whole movie is right here when he stands up at the thing and he's like, hey, what do you got to say? And he's got his fucking head, his severed head on his hand. And he's like, I think we should all. And then Johnny just looks at it, the severed head, and he's like, shut the fuck up. And screams. Because this dude's been giving him shit the whole time. Johnny was only there as somebody's cousin or somebody's friend or brother or something like that. You hillbillies, we're going to fucking army up and we're going to go out there and we're going to, take care of business at the bed and breakfast. They all get out to the bed and breakfast. I don't recall. Oh, they hit fucking Drifter guy with their car. That's what it was. They're driving around. They bump him with the car. Like, okay, get in. You got to come with us. They toss him in there, get back out to the house, and now it's Fortification City. Very Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah,
very Night of the Living Dead. In a good way. It's very much a love letter without being, hey, I'm going to shot for shot try and copy everything you did.
Right.
But it's great camera work in a tight space. We get our brain dead element here for me, which is, this is a little bit later on, but when she has the chainsaw and it's just blood and gore just everywhere. But not before they rig up these homemade DIY shotguns that were pretty sweet, Yeah. And he's like, look at you, girl. You're about as useful as a shirt on a pocket or a pocket on a shirt or whatever he said.
Yeah. That's always the real clever thing because from a filmmaking perspective, as soon as you bring guns onto a set, you've added a whole nother level of you have to have police there and everything. And you have to make sure that the guns are all checked and everything. So you have to have a man-at-arms person on the set at all times. So if you can do away with guns, fuck it. And if you notice, there's not a lot of gunplay in this movie.
No.
It was mostly getting killed with cymbals, shovels, sharp things. Even Jeffrey Dean Morgan has a gun, but you never see him playing it.
Right. Because, we remember Art the Clown in the first Terrifier when he shoots fucking what's-her-face. He's so apathetic to it because guns aren't exciting.
Yeah.
Watching a cymbal fly from a drum set, And you get some, exploding heads in this thing. I love the preacher, the street corner preacher that was out there with the sign, and they just painted over it, and it said the end is, here. Enjoy. And I was like, dude, that's awesome. But yes, so many fun, interesting special effects, explosions. Yeah. When David gets the chainsaw in his neck and he's dancing.
That was awesome.
Dude, So good.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah,
sells
and
that.
blood is just flowing, dude. Yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
they
yeah,
said
that
that
was
was
crazy,
I think they said that
crazy
scene was
shot.
almost 5 gallons of blood, fake blood.
Wow.
But I get it because he's literally holding the chainsaw behind his head. Ah! Oh, just so good. But we get a bunch more people die in the meantime because Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Why does he? Oh, because they have to go to the cemetery, but they have to
Yeah,
get
they
his
split off at some
bones.
point.
Yeah, they have to go
That's
get
what it
his
is. Yeah, they have to salt
bones.
the bones, which is like a voodoo thing.
Right. And
Salting
this guy
bones and
apparently knows, the drifter guy knows a lot of it, but not all of it. He's like, oh, because it's funny at the end. He's reading it and he's like, oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was right. And they're like, wait, you don't know what you're doing? And he's like, I don't know. It ain't fucking exact science. I'm trying to figure this thing out.
I felt like he was the William Sadler character from Demon Knight.
Yes, yes, a little bit. I could see that for sure. Coming back to you to hunt the thing in order to protect it. Protect it. There's a great comedic scene when they're going to the cemetery and they shoot Doc, and Doc's out behind this tree and he's like, ah, Sheriff? And he's, that's you, Doc? How do I know you ain't possessed? I don't know. How do I know you ain't possessed? And they start talking about county fair shit. And he's like,
Yeah.
who won the prize for such and such? He's like, well, they don't even have that competition. Blah. It is you, Doc. So they team back up. They dig up David Carradine's body. I love that. He's like, what the? Jeffrey D. Morgan's like, what happened? And he's like, I did an autopsy. He's like, what do you mean? We said he had a heart attack. And he's like, well, I figured I could use the practice. He's already dead. And it looks like a botched autopsy job. It's all over.
It's like so butterflied back together and big holes
Right.
open in it. Yeah, it's so good.
It's so funny. They start getting attacked. Jeffrey Dean Morgan ends up under David Carradine, like stuck. And he's just down there like, what's going on up there? And Doc dies. The other two end up living. They do have to fight off a few people, but they do end up living. Or maybe no. Maybe it's only her and Jeffrey Dean Morgan that lived.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because it might have been only the three of them out there. Yeah. And so, hey, okay, now we got to salt the bones. And meanwhile, Johnny's outside getting the gang ready. One of my favorite songs, they're like, we're coming to kill you. We're coming to kill you, coming to kill you. And you get this, like, thriller. I don't
It's
know,
like a
almost.
rap song. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
It was like a mix between a rap song and you get the zombies or the possessed or whoever doing this little dance sequence. But what they're trying to do is get David's blood. David had spilled. This is before he turns. David had spilled some blood on the porch. And Johnny's thought is all we have to do is get up to the porch, put a little bit of his blood in the box, then I'll have somebody on the inside. As soon as he turns, it's all going to start going bad real fast in there. And so they're shooting him out the windows, yada, yada, yada. They do end up getting a little bit of David's blood eventually. He turns, he beats his girlfriend to death. He's like, we've been 4 years together. 4 years. But not before Johnny's like, hey, did he ever tell you that he slept with your cousin? And she's like, what? And you have this whole breakdown in the middle of this chaotic. And he even tells her, like, this shit is crazy going on right now. What are you talking about? She's like, oh, we're talking about this. Like, was it when we were on a break? What was it? You need to fill me in on what's happening. So David does turn inside. That's when we get Sarah and David do that awesome chainsaw dance. People start coming in. Sarah rigs up like 3 of those pipes together and is almost like a Gatling gun walking around shotgunning people. She's knocking them out the windows, beating people to death. We got possessed walking around with drumsticks in their eyes hanging out. You got other people half falling apart. The only way you can kill them is to kill the brain. Kind of like any other, zombie or possession, you got to kill the brain. So they're fighting. Jeffrey Dean Morgan gets killed in the street because they're downtown or something like that. And she's like, how are we going to explain all this? And then something ends up happening, and he gets his neck broken. Like, whoosh. Oh,
Yeah, it was
because
very unceremonious.
yes, anticlimactic. His death, which
Yeah, just like a main character, and then you're dead.
right. And then old girl comes out though from the records department and just starts mowing things down. She's like, "Hey, if you're gonna go to that bed and breakfast, you better take this assault rifle." She's like, "I'm here to protect the records, and protect the records I will." It's like, yeah, lady, fucking badass.
Yeah, get some lady.
So they are now going back out to the bed and breakfast with the guns they have in hand. And this is what happens to Sarah kills Johnny, right? With the no, the other girl does with the crossbow, because she gave her a crossbow and she puts the bone on it. He's like, I thought you were vegan. Like, you don't kill meat and shit. Which was pretty funny. She shoots Johnny through the thing, through his heart, and then like karate kicks him. There's a lot of great like karate kicks and stuff going on in this. Sarah was inside mutilating everybody, and it's only when old boy is able to seal the box back up. He takes a little bit of Johnny's guts off of the arrow, sticks it in the box, which puts the bad demon back inside, wrap it up with the paper, and then you are golden. You are good to go. The evil is put away. They go back inside. They find Sarah, and she's like, are you fucking dead? Are you possessed? She's like, I don't know, man. She gets up out of a pile of bodies. Just like, I've been here hanging out. More music happens, and then we start, I think, a bonfire to try and we put the box in the bonfire, do some little ritual or something, put the bonfire up, and they take off, now leaving Lovelock or wherever we had been for the Love Stick, right. Welcome to Love Stick. They drive away, welcome to such and such, and then we go back, or thank you for visiting such and such. Then we go back to the bonfire, pan in, and we see that the box is still fully intact. Bum, bum, bum.
Boom, boom, boom.
And then you get some sweet credits with the band singing a whole song about the whole movie.
Yeah. I thought we were going to get some outtakes here because we got the little snap on the clapper box, but they just sang a song.
Yeah, but that's all right. You can just sing a song sometimes. Okay, so I talked a lot through that. I want to get your thoughts. What did you think after your first viewing of Dead and Breakfast? Maybe only viewing. I don't know. Maybe you fucking hated it.
Probably my only viewing. Now, look, I thought long and hard about this.
Good.
I didn't enjoy this movie when I watched it, but I don't know why I didn't enjoy this movie. It has all the things there that I like. It had amazing performances. It has tons of people that I recognized and respect, and like, I liked their performances. I generally like this kind of movie. And so I'm wondering, like you said at the beginning, you've watched it once and you kind of like weren't all the way in it. Now, I had just gotten home from watching The Lion King on Broadway live.
Okay.
So probably I was in the wrong headspace for this thing.
Probably. I'd say that's a
But
fair
I did,
assessment.
it just, none of the jokes landed for me, dude. Like, and I was thinking about it. I was like, do I just not enjoy like stupid humor anymore? And I'm like, no, because like fucking Tucker and Dale is one of my favorite movies.
Right.
And it's totally stupid.
I
Just
think
something about this.
I might have an idea of why, because for me, one of the problems with this movie that I have is the story feels all over the place a lot of the time. Like it's hard to keep up with exactly what's going on, you know? And like you said, all these different characters are here, but they might only be here for a second and then they're gone. And it's like, okay.
And they're all unlikable, rooting for anybody. So, and I just felt like they swung for the fences, and I give them kudos for that. But I feel like they missed the mark somehow.
That's totally fair.
And I can't even explain it. Yeah, I can't even explain it. But there were some things in it that were enjoyable. You know, there were elements of it that I liked. It just didn't all come together in a cohesive way that would have made this movie work.
And maybe that NC-17 version has, you know, more to it that who knows what all they had to cut out. Or kind of
I'll tell you one thing that this movie doesn't have: not a single boob, not a one, not even a side boob, dude. Come on, that's what this movie lacked.
That's fair. Okay, so out of five, out of five slashed trick baiters, how many do you give Dead and Breakfast?
I gotta go 2 on this one, dude. And they only get 2 because of the fact that they swung for the fences. They had the cast that it has, and they just they tried so hard to make a fucking awesome movie. And I give them respect for that, because what they did was not easy to pull off.
Right.
And I guess they did in my mind, but maybe, like I said, I give it that maybe I was just in the wrong mindset, and that I had not had any herbal remedy to get me in the right headspace for this movie.
You know, it is for me. It's so I give it a 3 out of 5 because there's a lot that I really enjoy about it. But what made Brain Dead so special is it like picked something and ran with it. What make Evil Dead so special is it picked something and ran with it. Where I felt like there was a lot of different flavors in this pot. You know, there's a lot, and there's a lot of characters too.
Yeah, and I mean they were homaging all over the place. There's even an Evil Dead poster in the closet when Jeffrey Dean Morgan goes and grabs the chainsaw.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh yeah,
That's
I mean
cool.
it's right there, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so I get it, you know.
Yeah. So I go 3 out of 5. It's
And that's low for you.
It's a little bit lower for me, but I because rewatching it, I'm like, man, but I can also just sit there and watch the special effects, and I'm like, fucking awesome, you know.
And for that, yeah, I give it huge kudos. That's part of my 2 is
Right.
because of the special effects.
Right.
But one of the things.
Oh, hey, hey, Zoom. That was fucking weird. So 2 for you, 3 for me. Next
what I was going to say, 2004. 2004. If you told me this thing was made in 1985, I would have totally believed it.
Right, right. And I think I can see outside of the faces in it, you know. And, you know, it's a love letter in a lot of ways to 80s, 70s horror, you know.
It really was. Even the pacing was kind of 80s horror.
Yes.
So.
Okay, next week we will be getting into The Exorcist.
You go from Dead and Breakfast to Exorcist.
Yeah, it's going to be myself and the amazing Chelsey CeeWolf Graves is going to be here hanging out with me to go back to 1973 and talk about the one that changed it all, man. The first horror movie, I think, or one of the first to get nominated for like Best Picture or some shit like that. It was a big deal. So if you haven't seen The Exorcist, give that a go. If you have seen it, maybe find a version. I love the Spider Walk version. I can't remember which edition that is that I have, but where she pees all over the floor and then does the creepy little or comes down doing the So yeah, that'll be next week. Now let's take a moment, just a moment here at the end of every episode to pause for the living segment of the show where we talk about, you know, things that maybe we can do for ourselves and for each other to make the world a little bit of a cooler place, because it's a very not, I shouldn't say it's not cool, because talking to my wife a lot, you know, we usually spend a little bit of time each morning just chatting about, you know, the world and stuff that's going on and ideas and things like that. And we've, of course, been talking about the Epstein stuff and all this shit coming out. And she had never heard of Caligula. And I was like, the sad thing is that this isn't new. You know what I mean? None of this is new. Like and always they have to hide it now more than they used to have to hide it, because it used to be it just didn't matter. People were just like, you bought them and sold them, and you know they did exactly what the fuck you said. Like, to study Caligula is to study some Vlad Tepes, you know, that motherfucker. Talk about having so many people on spikes that nobody would invade his country because it smelled so bad, just like rotting death. A country that smelled like death, you know, within like 2 miles or whatever of this fucking castle. This isn't all new, but it's easy to get overwhelmed, I think, by the amount of, because we have access to the information now in a way that we never had before. You can keep up. Realistically, you could just sit there and watch it all day and have something new to see every second if you wanted to. You could go that route. Pause for the Living comes from one of my personal favorite fictional characters of all time. That is Bruce Wayne. Of course, most people would know him as Batman. And what I've always loved about Batman, one of the things that, you know, not always, I guess when I was a kid, I just like, he beat up bad guys and shit, you know, he punched a Joker in the face and won the day. But as an adult, I've come to respect Batman from this position of, he has everything you could possibly want, but still chooses to give it all away to help other people. You know, his whole, almost to the point of it being an obsession and kind of being detrimental at times. It hinders him from really full relationships and things. But I love that idea of self-sacrifice, you know, especially in the face of having it all. It's like the opposite end of Jeffrey Epstein. Batman is the antithesis of Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein had all that money. He does bring
a little boy into his mansion.
But he doesn't do that. But, you know, Epstein took all his money and did a bunch of really fucking nefarious shit with it, whereas Batman, you know, kind of did the opposite. And so now Batman's not real. I understand that. But I've read stories about people with lots of money who have given away tons of it and just spent their life doing philanthropy, and really seemed like good stewards of their money, I guess, for the most part. But this comes from the Batman. I don't remember which one it's called. It's a manga that I've been reading lately. And it's dope, the Japanese, they draw. It's fucking so good. And it's cool to see this version of. And then there's a Joker companion book that goes along with it who finds Batman as a baby, like finds a baby Bruce Wayne and takes care of him, raises him his whole life so that he can be his arch nemesis once he gets old enough. It's pretty awesome. Right. It's pretty awesome. But these just couple lines, this is Bats. I don't know if you can see him kind of swinging across the city and doing his awesome Batman things. But I read this and I stopped as soon as I read it because I was like, man, that's like, I feel that. And this is what Bats says. Instead of wishing for the world to change, it's better to change myself. That's why I put myself in the darkness as a guardian of the light. And he's like, I throw myself into the shit show to be a light in the shit, to be, because that's the only place to fight it. But I like that. Instead of wishing for the world to change, it's better to change myself. Because the world will never change on wishes and hopes. It's never going to change. Like, oh, I wish it was better. I wish it was better. If we don't physically respond in a way, or morally, ideologically, whatever, in a way that is going to perpetuate change or facilitate change, then nothing's ever going to change. If we come from a place where we just say it's their fault, it's their fault that everything's wrong. If only they weren't doing what they're doing, then everything would be better. If you think like that, you're wrong. No ifs, ands, or buts about it, because that creates that us versus them. And instead of, I think it's so important and so essential that we look inside and say, okay, what can I change about me? Can I truly just be a vehicle of kindness? Do I have to carry anger and shit? And the answer, for the most part, is no. And I've heard the arguments, what about injustice? There's so much injustice in the world. What do you want me to do? Nothing? Absolutely not. We have to stand up to injustice. But I think a true sense of worth and value and understanding the self allows the eyes to see true injustice. And it's this like, oh, it's so unjust. It's so unjust. Do you understand full injustice? Like what equality would be and equity would be for people to truly have. Like, yes, maybe this may seem unjust in our country. And I'm not saying our country is in a great place. It's not at all by any means right now. However, it's still, leaps and bounds above some places I've been. You know what I mean? And I'm sure there's places I haven't been that are 10 times fucking worse that they won't even let you fly into. They'll be like, don't go there, bro. Right. Don't turn around. We're not going to let you go there because we know what'll happen if you go there. And so many people live that existence, all the time. So I agree with Bats. You can't wish for the world to change. The only way the world is going to change is if you change yourself. And then you can be a vehicle of change. If you don't know compassion, you can't share compassion. If I don't have some weed, I can't be like, yo, let's have a smoke sesh. You're going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? How can we do that? You don't have the main ingredient. It's the same way with us. If we don't have love, a true understanding of love, there will be no way to share that. There will be no way to share, if we don't understand true empathy or true compassion at that deep, I think, kind of universal level, you will never be able to share it fully. It just does. You can't give something you don't have. At least, I don't know. I've never seen that happen yet. Maybe there is a way that can happen, but the nice thing is, though, is I don't think, universal type love and that bigger type kindness and that, I don't think it's something that it's there inside of all of us. I think it just has to be brought out. I think the same way that evil is inside. I don't want to say evil, but that fucking anger, that fire, that burning, that rage, I think that can be, the same way. It's always going to be there. It's not going to go anywhere. It's just you determine, do I want to turn the furnace up or down? Mm-hmm. And I like to leave mine way low way low. Like, there's no reason to turn the heat up. There's no reason to turn the heat up for the most part. But we have that capacity at the same time for kindness and for love. You get to decide whether or not you want to turn that up. But too often we see a world that owes us something, that we are the victim of, that is punishing us for something. When in reality, that's just how things have always worked, and I think will always continue to work for the most part. You got to learn to get in that flow, fall into the cosmic rhythm or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But don't change the world. Don't wish for the world to be changed. Don't wish for the world to be changed. You have to change yourself. And then I think once the self is changed, then you can fight injustice in a real way. Because you can see it for what it really is. You don't see just a villain, you know. Scarface said it best. You need the bad guy. You need the bad guy to point at. And I think for so many people, without the bad guy, they'd crumble.
Yeah.
They wouldn't know what to do. Without anger, I don't know who I am. You know, I need somebody to point at and be like, fucking, they're the problem.
We have one of the greatest bad guys in the history of mankind to point at right now.
We have a lot, dude. We have a lot of them.
We have a lot of them.
Not just there's a bunch right now. But again, history has always been that way. It is rich with rulers. You know, when you compare Roman Caligula and Roman Caesar to modern America, it is striking. And Rome did fall, but it didn't go away forever. But it took all of his homies being like, yo, we got to kill this cat.
Yeah.
If we want to save any semblance of what we have, we got to do something because it can't keep going on. And the same thing happened to Caligula. He was fucking murdered going to a bathhouse, and they don't know 100%, but it was like, if we want to save the thing, we got to do something. However, in our world, and maybe we'll kind of wrap it up right here, because this is the one where I was just like so shocked. I was listening to some talking head or some pundit or something, and they were like, if we release every single name on this fucking thing, the whole system will fall. And I'm like, let it burn. Let it fucking crumble, dude. We will figure out how to build it back up. Don't worry about us. But don't let people get away with nightmare shit just because you don't want a system to fall. The system created this nightmare shit. Everything we have done has led up to this right now. So clearly it's not, you know, let the motherfucker fall apart a little bit. Hold people accountable. Put them out in public. Be like, yo, they're doing it in Europe already. They're like, all these names, you're out. Like, dude, if your name is in that shit, but even some of these guys, like that Olympic guy, I couldn't believe it. He's like, oh, we removed him from the chair of such and such, but he's still a vocal voice. And he's like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have sent those emails. It was a bad lapse of judgment. And it was like, I can't wait to see you, Giselle, in that black leather such and such. I'm like, you don't start with that email. What were everything that led up to getting to being so comfortable to be able to be like, I'll just send this email and I need to see you in this black leather. But he's still on the board and all this shit. It's still, you know, just not. The
problem is that these guys are jumping ship, but yeah, they're jumping ship so that their fucking stock doesn't go down.
Right.
So they can still cash out and still, no, we got to hunt these motherfuckers down. Nuremberg. Oh, sorry.
I don't know what came over me.
Oh. Little Duke.
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of with you, man. It's like, hold these motherfuckers accountable, man. And what makes me the most sad is like Shane and I were talking about it the other morning. And I'm like, you know what kills me is that it's not all the men that were doing it, but the fact that he had, you know, her and other women who were complicit. And because that's how you make essentially a woman feel safe, is put another woman in the room with her. And 100%. So it was manipulation on so many fucking levels. And I don't think we have any idea how deep this shit's going to go. But I say put it all out there. It better. And then fucking pictures of little kids tied up and shit. And they're like, oh, the fucking stock market's doing great. And it's like, what? What are you talking? Yes. Who? What? It doesn't make any sense, dude. So I'm really hoping for some accountability. But for all of us and all of you beautiful souls, you know, we can change the world one little thing at a time by changing ourselves. And the best person you can be kind to is yourself. That same compassion that you would give to your best friend or your spouse or somebody who just suffered a terrible tragedy, that same comfort you would try to give them, give it to yourself. You have that in. There's no reason you can't point that in and be like, yo, it's okay to be, you know, in a crazy world, but still be okay. It is okay to be okay in a crazy world, and you can be okay. And that's it. That is this episode of the Horror Pop Extravaganza. If you could please like, subscribe. We're doing our best to grow the show, but you know what? The show is not a dang thing without each and every one of you beautiful souls, man. You guys are the ones that make this show, and make us want to do better. You do inspire us to do better. Every time, we've seen some pretty good growth and stuff lately, and every time we see something, we're just like, how do we deliver? How do we show up in a good way with still being ourselves, but not pretending, without pretending to be anything else, but show up in a way that's going to give you guys content that's not only fun, hopefully, but useful at the same time. So, for the Horror Pop Extravaganza, I have been Pops Ghostly.
I've been Lil Duke Spooky.
And we will talk to you next week.
No! 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 Horror Pop Extravaganza.